I kind of wanted to talk about like the intersection of these issues that you had and potentially any type of imposter syndrome moving forward, because I think a lot of us feel this, but yet it's the stories that make the world go round. It is that struggle that you've overcame that makes you relatable. If you were perfect, who wants to get lessons from someone dictating about their perfection? And I think it was interesting before when you said you were struggling less than most during the recession.
Mhm.
And your friend Linda said everyone has been struggling. And I'd love to hear about that inception point of the Budgetnista. And if you had doubts, did you have doubts of who am I to do this? Or is it I've got this information, I have this story, and I've got to get it out there?
No, I was terrified to tell people, like, because in the beginning, when I used to teach, because I was volunteering when things were good, like, where I was great financially. So I realize now that, like, I'm sure I was like a terrible financial educator back then, because it was very much like, well, why would you do that? Okay. Like, because I had not made any mistakes. So I'm speaking from this financially perfect place where I was 25, I had $40,000 saved, even though my job wasn't paying a whole lot. I bought a condo, just all these things. And it wasn't until I was knocked down a peg and a peg and a peg and a peg that I started to realize, like, that sense of judgment is not helpful. But I do remember the first time, I think I had my first interview, I think it was like AOL, when AOL had, like, I forget what vertical it was they had, but they were interviewing me. And I remember deciding, should I be truthful about my foreclosure, about like some of the debt issues I had, because I was so afraid that I was afraid of two things. I was afraid if I didn't say it would come out and then people would say fraud, fraud, fraud. Or I was afraid if I did say, people would say, why should I listen to you? But I decided that I was more afraid of being found out down the line. So I might as well just be honest now. But it wasn't joyfully done. It was done from a place of fear. And it wasn't until I started to share my real story that people really started to connect. And it was like a light bulb went on, like, oh, people are not coming to you for the perfection. They're coming to you to say, you've gone through the same thing as me. Can you tell me how you fixed it? Like, for real. And then I was like, oh, so the more I shared, the more people are like, oh, thank you, Tiffany. I went through foreclosure and I have credit card debt. So yeah, it took me a few months to get that feedback before I realized that I don't have to be ashamed of the things, the mistakes that I made. Actually, if I had not made those mistakes, this is why I'm so grateful to Jake. And I'm teasing you, Jake. If you're listening to this from jail, I was just joking. That I'm glad for that, because if I had not made that mistake, how could I relate? How do I tell someone who doesn't have enough money to pay rent and buy groceries what to do? Because I know that feeling. I know what I had to do. So how could I tell someone who feels like honestly helpless, where it's like, okay, my bills are 5,000, but I'm making 1,500, 2,000. What do I do? I know that because that's exactly where I was. And so, like I said, I'm grateful for the struggle, because in that, it's like that's truly where I'm able to serve from. Because the teaching part is the easy part for me. I was a teacher for so long. I've got my master's in education, but it's the relating part that I had to learn through my own mistakes. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't have imposter syndrome anymore, because I tell my dream catchers, I'm not here to be your financial guru. I'm here to be your financial girlfriend. Like, we're just friends who are talking. It's like you have a friend that you might be like, oh my gosh, they're really good and I don't know, doing their hair, but you don't expect that your friend went to like cosmetology school. You're just like, she's just got great hair. Or like my husband's like, he like loves fixing cars. And so he didn't go to like mechanics, he's not a mechanic, but he just enjoys that. So no one comes to him with the thinking like, you're a mechanic and you should be able to know all the things. So I feel that way about what I do, that I'm not a guru. I don't consider myself an expert or a guru, just an educator and really your girlfriend to help you along.